All right, guys, welcome back to the Yee Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Smith. This is Hayden, my co-host. We got Parker and the special guest today, Amy.
Howdy.
This is an episode that's been long awaiting, I feel like. But you kind of already broke a lot of it on the Smiths. So have you been on the Smiths one episode or two, Amy?
One, I think.
Just one?
Amy doesn't even know where she's appearing. She's
Well-
getting used to getting filmed randomly.
Well, that's just Granger. Welcome to the Smiths whenever you don't know whether you're going to be in an episode now or in like 3 weeks if they're going to use that.
You'll just be like sitting in your room, and then Granger will just like pop in with a camera out of nowhere and be like, "What's up, guys?"
That was one of my questions. Right now, Granger walks up to you with a camera 3 inches from your face. What's your reaction?
Hey.
You just, it's so
She'll
weird.
get used to it. It took me a while.
Yeah, you do have to get used to it. So we're going to talk, I guess, all things today, engagement, dating, which is a little bit off of what
First
we
question.
usually do. What's your first question?
How tall are you?
5'4".
Okay, because I need to know how athletic and tall my nieces and nephews are going to be.
I don't think that has a huge impact.
Yeah, mom's
mom-
5'2",
Yeah, mom is tiny,
but
and
dad
yours-
was 6'3",
Yeah.
and we're all 6'1", 6 foot.
Does the woman's height negate the height of the children, or is that completely false? Is it just the height of the man that the kids end up taking on? That's not true, is it?
I think both. I think it's both.
I think obviously the woman has a lot. I know in white-tailed deer, the doe has a bigger factor in the genetics of a buck and the doe, but the buck, like in its antler characteristics and size, the mom has bigger impact than the dad.
On this week's edition of
Wow.
Why Tyler's Single,
So
he compares humans mating to whitetails mating. You know what's funny is you make the point about athleticism. Last week, was it last week? Or I guess it was earlier this week. Because not usually, this is going to sound sexist, but a lot of times it's like the guy is athletic and you're like, oh, well, you know, the female may not be quite as athletic. So it's like, oh, your kids, like, you never know. But I told Parker, how does it feel to be the least athletic in the relationship? Because where did you played college sports? Tell me a little bit about that.
wait. Parker played in the Central Texas All-Star game in high school
right.
and scored a touchdown.
That's right.
Where'd you play? You played volleyball. Where'd you play?
At Texas A&M.
And what years were you there?
2014 to 2018.
If I looked on YouTube right now, could I find videos?
Probably.
There's people jumping off the podcast right now. to
Wait,
go watch.
plus she was SEC champion.
Mm-hmm.
Plus she was all conference.
No. I wish.
Just say it.
Yes.
Newcomer of the year?
Yes.
So you were a starter for the SEC champions.
Yes.
That's like a huge
that's-
deal. So for the listener, she is very athletic.
Yeah. Parker's pretty athletic back in the day.
Parker
so-
is athletic.
Back
He's
in the
very
day.
athletic.
Back in the
He
day.
beat Cooper in a race.
He beat Cooper.
I'm faster than a beagle.
It's a little overweight. All right, so tell me about how you first met Amy. Oh, wait, sorry, that was a weird way to word that. Amy, tell me how you first met Parker.
I met Parker at a brunch after church. That's where I first met him.
That's so millennial, by the way. Brunch after church.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's true.
Was it love at first sight? Did you think that guy's cute, or were you just like, just whatever?
I had seen him from a distance and thought, oh, he's pretty cute. But I didn't really think anything of it. And then he was at brunch and we were sitting on opposite sides of the table. And I don't think it was love at first sight. We were just, we didn't talk. We didn't even get to like look face to face at the brunch. We were just all talking and laughing.
Were you attracted to him because you knew he's the CEO of Yee
get out
Apparel,
of here, Tyler.
making bank?
Oh, my gosh.
No. That was not why I was attracted to him. It had nothing to do with his appearance or status.
Amy still does
his
not
heart.
care about my TikTok
Which is
or anything.
perfect. Which is perfect.
I like had to like continually tell her, I'm like, okay, I like have almost 1 million followers here. There's a lot of comments. And she's like, on what? And I'm like, on TikTok. She's like, oh, cool. And then just like, like not in a malicious way, but she would just like genuinely was just indifferent about it.
I think for the listeners, I keep saying for the listeners, I think one of the coolest things about Amy is she doesn't have an Instagram. I love that about you.
Thank you.
Like, that's so hard to go against the norm of everybody's got an Instagram. Everybody wants to take selfies, and especially a pretty girl like you and stuff. But I don't know.
Why
I think
aren't
that's
you on
really
Instagram?
cool.
I was on Instagram.
Okay.
And then my sophomore year of college, I started to like delete the app and go back on every now and then. And then I think my junior year, or maybe going into my senior year, I was like, I'm going to delete my account. I don't think this is good for me. I don't think this app is glorifying in any way. I think it's turned into a lot of things I don't want to look at,
Mm-hmm.
and just like not super healthy. And I was spending a lot of time on it. So I was like, let's just kind of get into something else. I still have Twitter, which is so funny.
You're like the retweet king, queen.
Yes. I do love me some Twitter, but Facebook, the book, is really where it's at. That's
I
where
still love Facebook, and people our age hate Facebook, but I still think there's so much good stuff on there, and I'm able to keep up with like people over the age of 40, whereas a lot of people that are our age don't keep. Sorry, Tyler. Yeah, you're up there. The people that like there's some people our age that don't have Facebook, but I still love Facebook. It's like still my favorite app. I can keep up with my parents.
Real
friends.
quick about Facebook, side note. My buddy, one of my best friends from high school, went to Harvard, and we were in college at the time in 2002, and he called me one day and he's like, hey, there's this thing that one of the guys here at Harvard created.
Oh, man.
You should probably go look into it and get on it. It was just at Harvard at the time, and then they expanded everywhere. But I was like, I got the call like when it started.
That's pretty
Were
cool.
you in the
I
movie?
should have invested.
You're in the movie. What do you think? So that's a little bit different of a way of meeting, it seems like nowadays, because I feel like everyone nowadays, or at least it seems like 50% of relationships are in some way internet. Gone are the days of like there being this negative connotation of meeting on, like an internet dating site. Now it's like Bumble and Tinder or whatever, like is the popular ones now. Do you feel like more prideful in starting a relationship and beginning a relationship because, oh man, Amy, that's tough.
No.
We brought back the milk this episode, and in the middle of a very important question, Amy's
Who
phone
was it
just
that
went off.
caused it?
It was a Snapchat.
It must have been Gabby. Can I look or no?
You can look, but you have to reach for the milk too. Are you okay with
Are
chugging
you going to be
milk?
physically okay chugging this?
Oh, yeah. Hey, what about this strapping young man right here? What if he drinks the milk for you?
How about they do
Show
it?
your love for her.
How about she drinks half and he drinks half, since it's
I like
They're one
Parker
now.
drinking. I like Parker. Show your love.
I don't want him to hurt his stomach.
I can
It's
take
a
it.
lot of milk.
All
I
right.
can take it.
Do the milk
If
real
it
quick.
was muscle milk.
Drink the milk real
I-
quick. I know one
done
day
it.
they didn't have milk, so we did muscle milk. This is great.
Are you sure? You do whatever, and I'll do the rest.
This is
I'll
how much
drink
I
with
love
you.
you, Amy.
it says 17 grams of protein.
Is it expired? I got it this morning.
Smells it's expired.
Go, chug. That was great, Parker.
See, y'all are now a team. That's what y'all do.
Wow.
That's-
that was
so- Attaboy, Parker.
It's so cold.
that was a lot faster than I could have done it.
That's what you do for those you love. You chug milk for them.
I love you, so next time I get blown up, you're drinking mine.
Okay. Is there like a sense of pride though that you met organically, and not that there's anything wrong? I don't think there's anything wrong with meeting online, but is there a little bit of a sense of pride that you met organically rather than on a dating app?
Maybe I don't know for sure if it's pride. I have never been on a dating app, and that's just personal preference.
Humble brag.
Like you said, no, like you said, it's not like now. It's like a ton of people do it, and that's
Yeah.
great for them. But like, I don't have Instagram, so
True.
I'm not gonna do like a picture situation. But I don't know. I don't feel prideful in that. I just
Maybe pride was the wrong word. Maybe just like
Proud.
Proud,
not
like
a-
you
yeah.
just did it like in an old school, like
Yeah.
genuine kind of way.
yeah. I think I like traditional things, and so I like that it happened that way. Yeah.
I don't like look down on it. Like people, I remember like talking to people. I've talked to couples before who like have literally lied to their family
Right.
and friends about how they met because they're so embarrassed about meeting on a dating app or through a DM. And I'm like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily. It's like, what's the fruit of that relationship? If it's a terrible, unhealthy relationship, then however you met like could potentially be embarrassing. But like if you have a good, healthy relationship, then who cares how you met? But I mean, naturally like meeting in person and then not just like basing someone off of a picture of them is like probably is going to have a higher probability of working out. Maybe, I don't know.
There's a How I Met Your Mother episode where they do that, where they agree not to like they meet each other in person, but they agree not to look each other up. It's like on a Monday and they have a date on a Saturday, and they agree not to do any stalking because we're just in a world now where first time you like hear a name, whether it's like, I mean, the other day we're working with some new guy with EE, and the first thing I do is look him up on Facebook. I'm like, I'm working with this guy on a business like aspect. Why am I looking him up to have an idea of what he looks like? So,
Well, plus you see their true, genuine self and who they are. On social, you get their best picture on their best day with the best lighting, and then you see them in real life. It's like, you look nothing like your picture. So,
speaking of social media, someone sent the TikTok that you had, the very first one that really went viral, where you were playing the piano. And you're like, I'm going to play this for my girlfriend. It's her favorite song. It's like about a year old now. And then you walk into the other room and you look around and then you go, oh, I forgot. I don't have a girlfriend. And someone sent that to us after we posted the engagement thing and said, wow, this TikTok really hits different now. The guy said, it was one of our customers. He said, if there's hope for Parker, there's hope for me.
One of Amy's friends said that she saw that before she even knew me. Or maybe she knew of me but hadn't met me yet, and then she sent it to Amy and was like, I was waiting for you to run out.
That I was very disappointed.
Yeah, it's like I
when you
just saw
didn't
this.
come out. Yeah.
Then she was like, he said he didn't have a girlfriend. I guess y'all aren't dating yet.
What was y'all's first date?
We went to an Italian place in downtown Austin.
In South Congress.
But we'd been friends we met in February of last year, and I didn't ask her out until July. So we were just friends first. I wasn't really looking for a relationship like super intensely, and it just like progressed over time. It wasn't like right when I met you, like I asked you out. It was just like over time. We just like kept seeing each other at different church events and through mutual friends and stuff.
I told the story on the podcast last week, but I'll let you tell your side of it. It was so funny whenever the winter apocalypse hit, and this would have been right whenever y'all were friends, but Parker drove, which I listened to the podcast again, and I said that this is very unlike Parker. He's very safe. I didn't mean it like negatively. I meant that you're very calculated about everything that you do. And this dude got in his car at the time, a Tahoe at the time, that didn't have four-wheel drive.
No, I did not.
And got on 35 and drove like 15 miles downtown. And y'all had a big group that was staying at y'all's place during the apocalypse. And I remember thinking, there's got to be a girl on the other end of this. There is no way that Parker would ever do that. It's so unlike his personality.
I remember you driving like, dude, stop. What are you doing? Like, don't do this. I just like, yeah.
He
Don't
got
do
That
home.
was the scariest drive of my life. I'm not being sarcastic. When I left their house, I was pulling out to head home, and I was like, all right, I'm leaving. They're like, you're leaving?
We were
And I
like,
was like, I can't stay. Like, I'm not going to stay here. Cause then like, if I hadn't left right then, I would have been stuck for days.
yeah.
And so it was like, it's like a regular, like 30-minute drive back to my house in Round Rock in North Austin. And, I remember pulling out and leaving, and then like sliding, like hitting the brakes a little bit on the road. And then my Tahoe just sliding, like with the back wheels going back and forth, like for 30 feet. And I was like, I wonder if anybody in there saw me going home. Just like, all right, see y'all. And then it's just my little black Tahoe just going, just sliding down the road. And then, yeah, we were on the highway going home, and everyone was going like 15 with hazards on. It was terrifying.
Didn't you see a couple wrecks on the way home?
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
just
it
wa-
happened literally at the stoplight by their apartment after I was sliding. Then another car comes in and just goes and just like slides into another car. Like Texans in the ice is just, it is terrifying.
I've never been so excited to see someone walk in the door, because we just played Xbox that entire week, Parker and I, at his house. And then I just turned, you're alive. I was like, thank
Yeah.
God you're alive.
Yeah.
Has
I always
Parker
found excuses to go over there.
has Parker ever farted in front of you?
Yeah.
Attaboy.
Nice.
Attaboy. You got to get that out of the way early. I messed up in my relationship and waited a long time. And let me tell you, it's tough. There's like a lot of things that you have to do early. Like if you don't have certain conversations about the future, it's hard to have them later on. Farting falls in that. If you don't do it within like the first 3 to 6 months, when are you gonna fart?
When's the first fart?
When's the first fart? All right, engagement story. So I got to see this from like the other side, which is super cool. And this is the first time I've seen you since you've been back. So y'all had like, so you went to Europe for volleyball, and we'll talk about that. But there could have been like all these different routes. Like you could have stayed there for a long time. You could have come right back. You could have done somewhere in between. Like, so tell me a little bit about why you're in Europe, because y'all ended up getting engaged there. But tell the listeners a little bit why you're in Europe, the whole volleyball thing, and how that came about.
I was in Europe for a volleyball tour, and basically they take you around to a couple different countries and you play professional teams. And the hope is that it's a team of Americans playing these other European teams, and the hope is that they need a player. It's mid-season for them. Their season starts in August. They need a player, and they will sign you, and then you can be a professional volleyball player. So I signed up for that in June and then left January 4th. And I headed to Maribor, Slovenia, which was awesome.
Which you would have never thought you'd be there in your entire life.
Ever. But we had a couple practices, and it actually ended up being a smaller group than they usually take because of COVID. Even one day before we left, we lost one girl because she had some COVID complications, and it was crazy. Anyway, I was there to play professional volleyball because I always wanted to do it when I was in college. I didn't do it for a couple reasons. I was just like determined to just kind of hang it up and be done with it, move on. But I always had this itch, and I was praying about it, and I just felt like the Lord was like, just go, you know. So then I went, and they actually didn't need my position until the next season. All the teams we played, and 2 of the teams actually canceled because of COVID. But I said I didn't want to play for a whole nother year, so it didn't work out for me.
So
but
that's the reason I didn't know that. You would have had to wait because your specific position.
Yeah, so it was me and this other girl, Grace, who were liberos, and they basically told us, like, next season would be better for you so we can have film and, like, start reaching out to all these other teams, but there was no need because there's only one spot for that position on every team.
Yeah, right.
So
You see this rock, I ain't coming back next year.
yeah, so important question. One, is there like a signing bonus? Is there good money if you make the team? And then 2, are you done? Are you with your career in volleyball?
So there's different leagues, just like the NBA has like a G League. They have different leagues, and there's actually a lot. So if you make a higher league at a team that has a great reputation, you can, I think, make like 6 figures.
Wow.
That was never a potential for this gal, but a lot of people do. And volleyball is pretty big there. Like, their games do really well.
Like, people go.
Yeah.
It's not like, unfortunately, like female sports in America. Like, there's not, you play a lot of these college sports, and there's not another level besides basketball. And even basketball, there are huge issues in the female leagues in the WNBA.
Yeah, they love volleyball in Europe. It's awesome. So there is, and they cover, for international players, you're pretty expensive, but they cover housing. Sometimes they give you a car, and like cover your visa and everything like that, and then give you a stipend. So I think you make like good money if you're on a mid to high level team. And then your second question, am I done? Yeah.
Nice. How does that feel? Is that freeing? Are you sad? Are you?
I was just talking about this with someone today. It was sad in the moment. Like,
did you like the last time you left the court? Did you like look around and soak it in?
It was kind of rushed, and there was a men's team coming on, and
it wasn't that like
it was just like
that you think
it
of.
was really fast, and they were like, you have to get out, blah blah blah. So I didn't really have that moment, but that's okay because I kind of already had that moment at A&M where I thought this is it, you know.
Nice.
So
this
that
was just fun and icing on the cake.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was sad. It was a little sad, but I am just glad I went, and I'm ready to get on with it.
Yep.
I think that anyone that's ever played sports, whether it's at like you finished in high school, or you finished in college, or professional, like you see Ben Roethlisberger retire the other day, and he did like a walk around the stadium, and it was super cool. I think that what's so big about ending a sport is because it always, if you think about it, represents ending a moment of your life, and not just the sports. Usually, like you finish high school football, that's a reality that like I'm a senior, I'm about to graduate. It's not just sports, and sports are so much bigger than just the sport itself, but it's like I'm about to graduate and go to the next level. Most of us, 99.9% of all of us, that's just going to college or going into the workforce or whatever. If you play college sports, it's like, oh, now I have to go get a big boy job or a big girl job. And then professional athletes, it's like the retirement. So I think that is also what makes finishing a sport specifically so big of a deal. You finish a job, yeah, you may be sentimental whether you've been there a year or 20 years, but then you probably just go to another job unless it's retirement. But sports always is part of something ending and another thing beginning, which is probably kind of where you're at now, along with being engaged right after, which is like a whole nother just new life beginning.
Yeah. I don't know if you felt like this, but it was just like, man, I have, at least in college, it was like I had devoted so much time to this. What am I like? I don't know what's going to happen now, you know, even if.
Yeah. It's a new season and a new chapter.
Yeah.
And finding your new identity. For sure.
You'll be fine. Look at this guy.
Do you so for back to the engagement, did you have any idea, like Parker's coming to Europe to see you? Did you any idea that he was going to propose?
I thought, you know, he could. I knew it was a possibility. I wasn't like completely like taken aback, like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting this. In the moment he proposed, I was completely shocked. I had no idea he was about to do it. I was just walking around.
Where was it? In the street in Paris?
It was
Did anybody see and like clap?
No,
they're
great.
French people. They weren't happy for him. Like, get out of here, American.
What's funny is right after I did it, a guy was walking by and asked if he'd take a picture, and he goes, "Yes, but I'm late to work."
The most French response ever. So he still did it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
he
he
did.
still had to tell you, I'm late to work.
Honestly, the French people really redeemed themselves from the last time that Granger and Tyler and I were there. Everybody was really friendly and super inviting and welcoming, and like helped us out a lot whenever we were lost and stuff. It was good.
It's just a culture shock because typically we're the ones saying we're late to work, we got to go, but French are like, they take 3-4 hour lunches and just super stress free, and like we're always like time blocking and going from place to
Smoking
place.
cigarettes all the time. Everyone in France smokes cigarettes. It's crazy.
constantly.
Just the way of life.
We would joke because we'd sit down to eat, and like the people around us would still be there when we'd sit down and take an hour and a half lunch and be like, all right, we've been here forever, we got to go. And the people who were there when we got there were just still there, just like all talking still.
All right, we're going to hear all about the story when we come back from break. So Parker, tell me about it from your standpoint. So I feel like the girl has the easy side of this. She just puts little hints, pin stuff to her Pinterest about what she kind of wants with the ring. And then Parker has to do all this recon and then make visits and like second guess yourself on your decisions and your thoughts. So tell me about like picking out the ring, and then we all thought you were going to lose the ring on the flight to Europe. And we were like, do not check the bag. Like keep it on you at all times. So how was the process of getting a ring? Like, and then were you nervous whenever you were going to Europe?
Yeah, it's pretty stressful, I'm not going to lie. And it is interesting. We're talking about just like the tradition of the man finding a ring to present to this woman to then like have her promise that she will marry you, and the ring is like your offering to show like your legitimacy. It's just like such an interesting idea of like, I'm this serious about spending the rest of my life with you. The whole idea of like buying a rare jewel to prevent, anyway, that's always just fascinating to me. But yeah, so I went and I started looking for the ring. We started dating in July, and I started looking for the ring in October. and I bought a ring in October, and I was like, boom, I'm all good to go. Like, I was just like, had it in my backpack. I was like showing Granger and Tyler, and like Paul, our videographer for the Smiths, was like joking. He was like, you got a ring yet? I was like, yeah, you want to see it? And I like had it in my, I was like, got it in my backpack. We were like on an airplane. He was like,
I remember you whipped it out. I was like, wait, what? What are you
You have a
doing?
ring? You've been dating for like 3 months.
Not even that. You're just carrying it around.
Yeah, I just like had it. I don't remember why I had it with me. I just like wanted to carry it around. But I logged on to Amy's Pinterest when she was not in the room one time and found that it was like a little bit different style. So I ended up taking it back and getting a thinner gold band, but it still had the traditional diamond in it. And I switched out that diamond for an oval. So I got the thinner band and took it home, and then I saw again, I was like, I'm going to switch it to an oval shape, and then I took it back, and they put the oval on, and I got it again. And on the way car ride home, I saw these like scratches and marks in the oval, and I was like, oh, am I really going to do this again? Do I want to be the guy that goes in for a third time to change it out? And I was like, yes, I am.
Yep.
And so I went back, and I found like this perfect, it's called a cushion cut is what she has. So it's like a mixture between
we're
a
gonna get it on
square and a round, and it's an elongated cushion. So like it's a little bit
Ooh,
longer.
big words for Park.
And oh yeah, I'm like basically have a PhD in this at this point. And it's a big boy, and she has the tiniest finger anybody's ever heard of. She has a 3 3/4 finger, and so I knew anything was gonna look like a rock. And I remember talking to her friend, and I was like, I'm between like these two sizes of carrots and anything. I don't want it to look like tacky big on her. And she was like, she told me that it's like clarity is what she prefers. She's not gonna mind whatever you get her. Obviously, it's Amy. She's not gonna care like too much, but. She also said that she wouldn't mind having some ice. And so I was like,
Ice,
okay, I'll go with the
baby.
big one. So I got the bigger one, and it was ready like 3 days before I left for Europe.
Were you nervous at all that it wasn't going to be ready in time?
No, Diamonds Direct was great. Shout out
Oh,
Diamonds
whoa.
Direct.
Is that an ad? That's not an ad. No free sponsorships, but yeah.
Yeah, it
Diamonds
was
Direct.
great. But I kept it with me, and then I had it with me in Paris, and so the whole first day I had it with me, and I took it out of the box and put it in a little bag.
Really?
Had it in his pocket.
Dude, there's pickpocketers everywhere.
I had it in a zipper on my chest, and so I took it out of the box because it like would have been too big on my chest, like it would have been obvious, and so I just had it in a little bag. And so I had it on my chest, and then we were walking around, and I like slowly like slid it into my side pocket, and then I like loosened up the straps so that I'd be able to grab it without her knowing. And this was the night before in Paris, and so I had it ready to go in the right pocket is like the on deck pocket, like
Yeah.
it may happen
Yeah.
soon. The left pocket was like
Yep.
storage.
Yep.
And so I had it in the on deck pocket, and we were walking around that evening in Paris, and so I was like, I just had like my hands on it, and then I was like, let's go over here, like, because we just like basically walked through all of Paris, but there's just so many people everywhere. I didn't really have a moment that was just like felt right. And so it went back into the other storage pocket until the next morning. We were looking at stuff in the room of places to go in Paris that were like romantic. And there's this huge church called Sacré-Cœur, which means Sacred Heart. And we were like, let's go there at sunrise. That would be cool. And so we went there at sunrise, and we got there, and there was like this annoying American tour group at sunrise on the steps, and they were just like, what's up, guys? Welcome to the church, and it's 6,000 square feet on
Wow.
6 acres, and everyone's just like
All the
taking pictures and
regurgitated
stuff.
facts, yeah.
And I was like walking around the sides, like looking for spots, and Amy's like, where are you going? I was like, I'm just like looking around. She's like, the church is like right here, because I was just like looking for church
Scouting.
for areas like away from all the people. And anyway, all that to say, there was a little area right below the church, like there's like a little plaza with like these really pretty steps with nobody down there. And so I was like, let's just walk down here. She's like, okay. And then walked down there and did it.
Did you take your mask off when you got on a knee?
Thankfully, they didn't make you wear your mask outside, but
Yeah.
Did you bend the shoe, or did you do the thing where like you just did the tip. Because if you're wearing like Jordans or nice tennis shoes, you can't bend. Did you bend?
Yes.
I'm sure he wasn't thinking about that when he did it.
You should think about it.
that is a big deal. I have seen the people
Whatever.
who do that. I've seen the guys who take off the Jordan and then
Yeah,
set it down,
yeah.
and then they get on their knees so they don't
Do you
crease
remember
their
whenever
Jordan.
Trevor Lawrence proposed on the football field and he didn't have his knee all the way down and everybody's like, his knee's not down, he's running a fake.
That's funny.
All right, well, that was great. We're going to do a fantasy ranking. So based on the love is in the air, engagement, etc., whatever you want to call all this, we're going to do the fantasy rankings of best fictional couples of all time. So this can be movie, TV, book, whatever. These are fictional couples. So the way fantasy rankings work, if this is your first episode, is we go around the room. Everyone gets 3 answers. You do them one at a time. If one other person takes one of your answers, it's off the board, so there will be no answers twice. So we are going to let Amy go first, since she is our guest today. So what is your number 1 fictional couple? First pick in the draft.
I think I have to go with Rachel and Ross.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Sorry.
I knew that was coming. Are you a Friends girl?
Mm-hmm.
Parker, you don't like Friends, do you?
Yeah, I like Friends.
Is this the first red flag? Oh, I was hoping he'd say no.
I know you don't like Friends.
Well, it's like the second worst TV show of all time, right behind The Office.
Wow. Why?
Yeah, fighting words. It doesn't fare well in this office, literal office, not liking those 2 shows.
Wow.
That's a good first pick, though. Parker, what you got?
I'm gonna go with. I'm early. This is great. I have a pretty big selection here. I'm gonna go with Corey and Topanga.
Oh, that's
Boy
so
Meets World.
good. That's so good. All-time relationship. Yeah, that's a great one. Do you still watch that sometimes?
No, I haven't seen it in forever.
Whenever I got my Disney Plus, that was the first show that I started watching again. That and Even Stevens, and man, I forgot how good. And like Corey, well, if it works that way, Topanga was like every little boy's like childhood crush. Everyone had a crush at some point on Topanga. All right, what you got, Tyler?
I think I won. Excited. The Notebook. William and Lillian Wilson.
Well, you got another name.
Well, I mean, you didn't.
But it's not on my list.
But that's the best one, though.
It's a good pick. What do
Yeah.
you know? Do you know their names in real life?
I don't. I just know that they died
know 'em?
minutes apart.
Do you know the names? Hey, spoiler!
Rachel,
If someone wanted to watch The Notebook,
Oh, yeah, Rachel
McAdams,
and Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
by the way, 2 of the most beautiful people to ever be a couple in anything. They're
Yeah,
both
they're a good
like
couple.
handsome and gorgeous. My first pick is going to be the 2 guys in the Sonic commercial. That's my favorite couple.
My dad used to love that.
They're definitely together, by the way. They're definitely together. Did y'all see that they phased them out? They don't do them anymore.
Are you being serious?
It's like a
They're
a
gay?
family. They can't not be gay.
That's
Oh,
just
yeah.
Hayden's
No,
theory.
I think they're just friends.
How many
They're-
how many guy friends in the last 3 years have you gone to Sonic with?
Connor.
1 time, twice? What about you?
I went with Brian and Paul the other day.
Three's okay. If there's 2 dudes going to
ain't
Sonic
been.
all the time together,
I feel like one time there was a lady in the car with them.
it was his mom.
Yep.
Now they've like opted to do families and stuff, which is kind of backwards. Everyone's going more towards the same sex couples on commercials, and they're just Sonic's just going backwards. All right, Amy, what you got?
Okay, Bella and Edward. Come on.
Oh yeah, that is good. That is good.
Good one.
Not
Do you like
Bella and
Twilight?
Jacob. Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
Twilight like gets a lot of crap, but it's a really good movie
I
series.
finally watched it with her. Amy loves Twilight.
I don't know if I love it, but I did love the books.
Did you have a crush in high school, or I guess whenever
Middle
this came
school.
out? Middle school of Taylor Lautner.
No.
Really?
No,
Every
she
girl I
hates Jacob.
dated.
I'm Team Jacob.
Team Jacob.
Our first fight.
First fight, Edward or Jacob. Team Edward, Team Jacob. Every girl I dated just had a crush on Jacob Lautner. I was like, come on, I hate this guy. Just every girl. All right, what you got, Park?
Jim and Pam, The Office.
I can't believe that stayed on the board this long. Yeah, The Office. A very popular one around this office. What about you, Tyler?
I'm actually going to stay within the office
Ooh.
and do Michael Scott and Holly Flax.
That was a rewarding one when he finally found Holly.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Office all the way through?
I haven't seen it without Michael.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We'll have some.
Was that
catching up to
whenever who came in?
I think Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so weird looking back that Will Ferrell was on The Office.
What was his name, Brian?
D'Angelo.
Brian would know immediately.
D'Angelo. Did it get worse? All you Office people,
No,
did it get
dude.
worse?
You know,
It's definitely different.
It's different, but so
I
good.
I really enjoyed it. They did a good job.
Oh man. Bert and Ernie.
You're sticking with the theme here. I can't wait to see your third one.
Bert and Ernie, just like classic. Just one guy's one puppet is happy all the time, and one's grumpy. It's just like the American story. Bert and Ernie.
I thought they were brothers.
No, they're a couple. What you got, Amy? Last round.
Well, on the flight back, we watched Harry Potter, so I'm gonna do Hermione and Ron.
Oh, that's good.
Mine's been fist pumping.
That is good. Did
This
you
fella
always
redhead.
think? Did you always think that she was gonna date Harry? I think everyone thought. Really, you didn't?
No,
Oh, I thought that she was gonna leave Ron,
just friends.
ginger self for Harry. No, I was waiting for. Sorry, Ben. You got a ginger right off camera. Yeah, I was kind of always pulling for Harry and Hermione. Yeah, that's a good one. I think Amy's gonna win, actually. What you got, Park?
I got Joe Dirt and Brandy.
Yes, that's so good. Dang, that's a good
That's
one.
a
I
real
never
good
would have
one.
thought of that. That's an all-American couple right there. All right, Ty.
Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen.
Man, these are good ones.
that
Game
is
of
a good one.
Thrones.
Saw Game of Thrones.
I miss Game of Thrones.
R.I.P. when that show was good. Why has Ben laughing? Do you know what this?
I've
option
got
is?
some really dumb ones. I'm gonna go with Dory and Marlin in Finding Nemo. They were definitely together. Why else? There's no other option. I think.
I hope we make an Instagram post out of this so Hayden just gets destroyed with just all of these like cartoons. that he
Okay,
just
you
assumes
can't
people are
tell
gay.
me.
They are together.
They are?
Dory and Marlin.
Did they end up getting together after? Because another fish goes across the sea to find your son. You have to marry that fish. You have to.
But Dory's a girl.
Yeah, she's the
Okay.
one that forgets everything.
Yeah.
And then Marlin loses his son Nemo, and then Dory goes and finds Nemo, and then she forgets everything, but she eventually.
But they
brings him
never
back.
confirmed that they were romantic.
There's another movie.
They definitely laid eggs together on a seed pad. What a roller coaster of an episode! I definitely won that. All right. Well,
Comment below what we missed. I'm sure we
Yeah.
missed a bunch.
yeah. Like and subscribe. Hit that red subscribe button. You're already watching. Super easy. Right below us. Hit it.
And
Thank you
tell and say congrats to Amy and Parker.
They already did that. Did y'all see the live stream? There were like 2,000 comments. Congrats, Amy and Parker. Because right when we started, we said Parker's not here. Everybody say congrats, Amy and Parker. And there were so many comments.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for coming on. I guess listeners are going to probably be seeing a little bit more of you now.
Yay.
Are you excited? Get ready for Granger to walk up on you with a camera just 3 feet away from you. All right. Thank you guys for listening. See you next week. Eat your veggies.